Welcome back to the Standing Baseball Pod, where we talk about your favorite teams and players standing up. In today's discussion, we have a pretty interesting topic in terms of debating who should really win NL Rookie of the Year. Is it Paul Skenes or is it Jackson Merrill? So as we know, the discussion between NL Rookie of the Year has gone back and forth for most of the year, with Paul Skenes coming up and absolutely dominating from the jump. And Jackson Merrill has been on the San Diego Padres all season, and he has played center field for them. Now, the reason I bring up that he's played center field for them is because he came up as a shortstop, and this is his first time playing center field, and he's played there in all 127 games he's played this season. And one really just impressive thing to really note about all this is Jackson is only 21 years old, and Paul Skenes is only 22 years old, so just really impressive from both of them. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of us that disagree on this, but right now Jackson Merrill is first in terms of the best odds to win the award, while Paul Skenes is second with I think a plus 100 or something like that, while Jackson Merrill is at a minus 110. So definitely not a huge gap there, but definitely something to note. So today I'm going to go over some of their stats and my personal opinion on who I believe should win the award at the end of the year. So first, we'll start with Paul Skenes' stat this season. So he has pitched in 17 games in which he started. He has an 8-2 record in 104 innings pitched with an 11.25 K per nine, which is 130 strikeouts total. He has a 2.16 ERA with an opponent batting average of 195, and he has a 2.9 wins above replacement so far this year. Now moving into Jackson Merrill, who, as we know, is a position player. He is currently hitting 288, which is even higher than it was when he played in Double-A last year, where he hit 273 in Double-A, so massive difference there. He got even better since coming up to the majors. He has a 17.6% K rate, which is well below league average. He has 19 home runs, 72 RBIs, 125 WRC plus, and a 3.9 WAR. So the toughest part about this entire discussion is that you're dealing with a position player and a pitcher, which isn't usually something that you ever really have to deal with in these discussions. So again, kind of similar to the Aaron Judge, Bobby Witt conversation, it's more or less what you value in this award. So to me, I'm going to go over some of that and kind of where I think a certain player stands out over the other. So let me start by saying this. I believe Paul Skenes is without a doubt a future Cy Young Award winner if he can stay healthy. I know he does have a little bit of past in terms of injuries, but I think if he can sustain this every season and be very healthy, he will win a Cy Young, maybe even two at some point in his career. But there's two things that you kind of have to notice here is that one, Paul Skenes plays on the Pirates, who are basically out of playoff contention. They aren't actually out, but they pretty much are without a doubt out of playoff contention, while Jackson Merrill is on a very red-hot Padres team, and he is a huge reason for them being very hot, and without a doubt, they will most likely be a playoff team this year. So to me, unfortunately, whether you guys may agree or disagree with that, I think that plays a huge role in a matter of, how are they really contributing to their team, being a playoff team versus being on a really bad Pirates team that really doesn't have any offense is a huge difference, and that's not Paul Skenes' fault, but in my mind, that is a huge thing that stands out is Jackson Merrill has basically lifted this Padres team into the playoffs. They're not there yet, but they're most likely going to be there. They're very hot. And kind of going along with that, a main statistic that I really want to point out to you guys in this, and it's kind of what you would have in an AL or NL MVP conversation, is Jackson Merrill has 6 game-tying or go-ahead home runs in the 8th inning or later, which is the most among every single player in Major League Baseball this year. I mean, you hear people talk about it all the time. If you watch MLB Network, the guy is just clutch. He doesn't panic. You can see in his eyes he's just ready to lock in no matter the situation. Bases loaded, 2 outs, or 9th inning down 2 with a runner on. He is just locked in. He does not change his emotion, which is something that is huge for clutch players. And as you can see, he has been basically the clutchest player in all of baseball this season. And when you talk about former AL or NL Rookie of the Year, you look at guys like Corbin Carroll or Julio Rodriguez in the past few years, and those guys just really stood out as, there really is no competition amongst these guys. We knew pretty much who it was as soon as the end of the year was over, and there really wasn't much discussion, but I definitely think there is a discussion to be had here. I just think there really is not much to argue on the side that Jackson Merrill has not only been clutch, he's leading a team, first of all, full of veterans, Jerickson Profar, Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts, all these guys that are veterans. He's basically helping lead and propel this team into a playoff spot, and they had to get hot. Otherwise, they were probably not going to either even be close to winning the division or even having a wild card spot since the All-Star break, but they have been absolutely hot, and Jackson Merrill is a huge, huge reason for that. And basically what I'm saying is I'm not sitting here trying to blame Paul Skenes or, Skenes, you're on a really bad team. You're never in those moments. But one huge thing that you kind of want to look at with, MVPs or Rookie of the Year, whatever the case is how clutch are they? How do they perform when it really, really matters? And unfortunately for Paul Skenes, he just really hasn't been in that kind of situation yet, at least to my knowledge of the games that I watch and how I follow. I just don't think he's really been in any of those moments that are kind of like, damn, like Paul Skenes is clutch. Like that was really, really clutch. And again, that is not necessarily his fault. It's a huge reason that, the Pirates just really aren't that good of a team overall. But he has just dominated without a doubt. I mean, there's no doubt sitting here saying Paul Skenes will be a top 5 pitcher in the game at some point, if he's not already there now. So I don't think I want to take that against him, but at the end of the day, you have to take all these factors into consideration, and Jackson Merrill just has that clutch gene that every single guy wants on the team, on their favorite team, whatever the case may be. Every coach wants it. He has the ice in his veins, as people say, and he is just huge for the Padres. Like I said, he has a higher batting average at the major league level this year than he did in Double-A last year. So as we know, kind of the big thing with pitchers, a lot of pitchers do come from Double-A. A lot of, a guy like Paul Skenes, or even a lot of guys, as you can see, I'm a Mariners fan, in the organization go from Double-A to the majors. They kind of skip almost that Triple-A step. And that's kind of what Jackson Merrill did, which I think is a huge jump, especially for a hitter to go from Double-A right to the majors. Having that Triple-A, whether it's even 100 at-bats, it is a huge thing for them to kind of learn and to kind of develop. And he just completely skipped that step. He's 21 years old. He's putting up the numbers that I just read off to you. He's just doing all these things so young. And like I said, he was a shortstop, and now they moved him to center field on a big team like the Padres that have a bunch of future All-Stars, a lot of even possible Hall of Famers, you can argue. And he is just performing at his highest level, and it is really impressive to watch. So like I said, I'm sure there is a big group of people out there that think Paul Skenes is without a doubt should win the Rookie of the Year for the NL. But at the end of the day, it also really is, unfortunately, it is a popularity contest, so he very well could go out and win this, because as we know, a lot of voting and stuff is based on popularity, and Paul Skenes is definitely a lot more popular than Jackson Merrill is right now. Obviously, due to who he's dating and all this other stuff, and he's earned that kind of fame per se. But Jackson Merrill is definitely a very under-the-radar kind of guy right now, and kind of working his way up, but a lot of people are starting to learn more about him. And just being in these clutch moments that he's doing, having these walk-off home runs. He just had another one the other night. He just has that clutch gene that a lot of guys just don't. So please let me know what you guys think on who you think should win the NL Rookie of the Year this season. I'm putting my money on Jackson Merrill. I think he deserves it. I think he is just really just shown baseball who he is and who he is for the future to come. And that is not to discredit Paul Skenes in any way. I think he is going to be a huge part of the future of baseball, especially on the mound. I just think you cannot not give it to Jackson Merrill for what he's doing on this Padres team. And again, he's not on a team that's not even close to the playoffs or whatever the case is. He is on a Padres team fighting for the playoffs, and he is doing these things night in and night out. So that's for that reason, I'm saying Jackson Merrill deserves the NL Rookie of the Year. But otherwise, please let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Otherwise, I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.